What's going on, everybody? It's me, your boy, Caesar. I'm back in the saddle again. Just a cowboy on the adventure of life, trying to figure out where to park this horse. Horses are very pretty. If you think about it, they're a majestic beast.
Yeah.
I kind of feel that way about myself. I'm some sort of majestic beast with a long flowing mane.
Long, luscious hair.
Speaking of long, luscious hair, I know you can't see it, but my cousin / little brother, he's sitting right next to me in the hot seat, and he's another one of those people who has a long, luscious mane. I guess you can say we're just naturally gifted to be horse-like creatures.
Majestic beings. That's it.
Big and fast. Just, no big deal. What's going on, everybody? I'm back after a week. I know I said I was going to be back on like Saturday or Sunday with an episode about Rocky, but I didn't watch all 5. No. Rocky 1, Rocky 2. So Rocky 1, he fights Apollo and he loses. Rocky 2, he fights Apollo and he wins. Rocky 3 is Clubber Lang. Rocky 4 is Drago. Rocky 5 doesn't exist because it's a piece of shit. Rocky Balboa, that's 5 right there. So Balboa, when he comes back out of retirement, then Creed, and then Creed 2. How many movies is that? 7?
7 movies.
I could not sit through 7 Rocky movies in one day. I apologize. I should have done my homework before. That's like 14 hours of the same. Hey Adrian. That same. Okay, I love those movies, but all 7 in a row. Sorry, bud. Sorry, buds and budettes out there. I'll do my homework better and prep for it, and I'll get that episode out sometime. Speaking of episodes, you know what? It was definitely hard to put out 5 episodes. Thus the hiatus once again after a week. So I took the time off. I've been dealing with some brain stuff, some brain and life stuff. A little bit of that anxiety. Little anxiety. That's a cool rap name, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Little anxiety. I can't do Lil Xan.
Nah.
Little anxiety or little pression. Little pression.
Little depth.
Little depth.
Little depth.
Little depth. Some little anxiety, a little depression going on, and I'm just trying to work my way through it, train and come back to it. But 5 episodes a week is definitely hard to achieve for someone who works and trains a lot, and it's definitely a busy season. So I come home and I don't really have anything to talk about other than what a little punk ass kid wanted for his order today. Like, I can't really talk more about that because I go through that all day, every day. No real life experience outside of that. So yeah, 5 episodes a week. I'm probably gonna cut it back to at least 4 prom season coming up the next month or two, maybe like 2 episodes a week. I'll just try to keep it consistent, a little consistent with it, and I'll just get back to it. Just back, like I said, back in the saddle, rhinestone cowboy. I'm a weightlifting cowboy. So like I said, I'm sorry that I didn't come out with that much anticipated Rocky Balboa episode. I'll do my homework better, but I want to make sure that I continue to do this because I love doing this. I love talking to the peeps, my fans out there. Shout out to my fans in oh my goodness, It's definitely grown. It's definitely grown a little bit since I last checked. I have people listening in. Let's see. I mean, obviously people are listening in the U.S., but I have still my peeps out there in Germany, France, little Zealand out there, little Zealand in that little island over there. Portugal, ooh, little Czech Republic, and Moldova. I don't even know what that is, but sup to my friends out in Moldova. I hope you're enjoying my podcast and whatever I talk about. So most important question. Everyone knows what it is. How are you? Right now it's Friday night, 11:09 p.m. I'm going to get this episode out on Saturday. Oh yeah, and Easter's coming up on Sunday. Maybe I'll put it out on Easter Sunday episode. Or I'll put it out on Saturday. So the people who find it gets like another little treat for their little Easter basket. Yeah, this episode is going to be released over the weekend of Easter at some point. But most important question, yeah. How are you? How are you on this Easter weekend? Hope you have the time off. I hope everyone who's working that 9 to 5 grind, right? 9 to 5 grind. I hope that's going well. I hope you got the weekend off, unless you work retail like us, because it sucks. We got Sunday off because our company likes families. But there's some serious, bro. There's some companies out there who don't like happiness. I hope this podcast brings you happiness. I hope it's like I'm your family here. Love you. I hope your Easter's going well. Yeah, how are you? If it's going good, that's great. If it's not going good, trust me, it gets better, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
In the hot seat, like I said, my little brother, little cousin over here, little Santi, that's
me.
Little Santi, full name, Little Santiago, but we'll call him Little Santi today.
That's it.
It's my dog. It's my day one, my number day one, week one of my program of life. This guy, for all my fans out there who know what it's like to grow up with your grandparents, all my minorities, sup? You know what it's like to have your little cousin be there every day. That's what this guy is.
Yeah, I was the one who he was giving wedgies to.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah, I've always been big. I gotta bully this guy.
That's it, man.
But now he's strong, and he's not as strong as I am, but he can still. He can actually put up a fight now. So it's not even fun.
A decent, a decent one, yeah.
Okay, so I guess first things first. I mean, how are you? What's going on with you, dog? How's life? How's life about? What's life like outside of our job?
Outside of our job, I mean, it's good. Definitely, same as always, struggling. Everyone has their own struggles, but, mine being related to school, always, grinding at school. I'm sure a lot of you guys out there know exactly what that's like, trying to balance school and work and just trying to, keep up those grades and keep up that cash flow. I guess it's definitely rough, but I mean, outside of work, I mean, that's really it. And I mean, I'm just trying to, be there for my other siblings, for my little siblings, who definitely need me. And then, just loving the familia. That's it.
Nice.
That's all it is.
Well, if you don't mind me asking, what's a big Lil Xan you have about not Lil Xan, Lil Zaidi, sorry, Lil Zaidi that you have about school? because I mean, I applied to college. I applied to CS San Marcos right out of high school, and I got in. And I remember going to orientation, doing all that stuff, and getting everything set up. And I went to school for business. I was going to go to school for business. I was going to go to school and just try to learn, because, I mean, that's what you do when you go to college. You need to figure out who you are as a person. And do that. I remember going. Yeah, I remember going on that day for orientation, when you kind of go through, look at all the halls, the library, just talk. You kind of get split up into groups about what your majors are. And I remember just being there being like, what the fuck am I doing here? I had no idea what I was doing. Like, coming out of high school, I had no idea what I was doing. Yeah. It was just a really rough time. And then, yeah, when I got to San Marcos, and the last thing that you're supposed to do is pick out your schedule. So picking out your schedule, I had no idea what I was doing, and I'm not one of those people who want to ask for help. So I'm just kind of sitting there picking out random classes. My schedule looked like I was going to 2 classes every single day, and I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? So I didn't really, dude, the pressure and the anxiety I remember feeling that day, it was really rough. And I think it was later on, maybe a month or so after, when I was thinking about it, I'm like, I can't do this. And I ended up talking to the people who could disenroll me or unenroll me from classes, and then that was it. I didn't end up going, and I just kind of sat there and wallowed and just started working. And I remember feeling really shitty about the fact that, yeah, like that anxiety really got to me. Like, it really messed with me. And this last week, and that was in 2015. That was 4 years ago. This last week, and I've personally been through a lot of tense, high pressure situations with weightlifting, with life, with all that kind of stuff. And, being in the hole with 2 missed snatches at your first nationals meet doesn't really compare walking through a college campus. You're like, obviously not making those lifts is a lot more pressure. But I walked into San Marcos the other day because I wanted to talk to them about finally going back to school. And I just remember standing in line feeling the same way that I did when I first enrolled. I was just so scared, and just there was so much anxiety that kept me from. I just felt like something, like everything bad that could happen could potentially happen, and there's really no point in moving forward. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Why am I going to risk it? So it's just, what's that little anxiety that you have in school right now? I mean, what are you trying to accomplish?
I mean, it definitely starts with, trying to figure out whether or not the thing you think you want to do is actually what you want to do. I mean, I've kind of been floating around in school and trying to decide whether or not, that it's pretty much what everyone thinks is, is my major going to be what I end up getting a job in? And is that what I really love and what I really want to do for the rest of my life, quote unquote, or air quotes. And
what are you going to school for?
Right now it's health and fitness. And I mean, I'm not all that healthy or fit myself as of right now. I definitely trying to get back in the saddle. I'm trying to be that
cowboy
that
again?
cowboy too.
A Rambo cowboy?
Yeah, something like that. So I mean, yeah, it's health and fitness as of now.
What do you want to do with it?
So my counselor has given me some courses that I can kind of apply to both athletic training and also pre-physical therapy. So pre-physical therapy, that would be kind of obviously, PT. It'd just be helping people, get back to, accomplishing tasks, using their body, to kind of manage, all that stuff. And, pre-physical therapy to transfer over to hopefully, some state school, maybe San Diego State or something like that. They have a good program. Or, athletic training being that other avenue. And athletic training is definitely, another avenue that is a very hot route, I'll say. Something like that, obviously I love sports, I love, health, just trying to help people. It's always fun trying to figure out and, kind of manipulate the body in different ways and trying to figure out how to help people, get to the best of their abilities, help them kind of achieve that and, achieve what they want to achieve. So, I mean, yourself being an athlete, what it's like to surround yourself with people who are trying to help you become better.
Yeah.
No one person does it on their own. And I think if there's anything that I can do to the best of my ability is helping people achieve their best. So I was an athlete back in high school, and I wasn't the greatest athlete, but I did good. And more than anything though is I learned it from a first-hand experience. So I think it's only right to help people with theirs.
It takes a whole ghost town to raise a cowboy.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I could see where, that anxiety comes in. Like, anxiety comes into play when you're not. It just seems like a big decision, like a crazy big decision
such a young age.
to try to figure it out all at one time. And, from my like a year in community college when I went to San Jacinto, I changed my major. I went from this is the guy who got like repeated F's and D's in physics. I wanted to go back to school for engineering. Like engineering, so eventually I can do something with so I can make my way into the Air Force and eventually make my way to NASA. Dream big. I want to be an astronaut. But then I realized, wow, this is a lot of numbers. There's a lot of numbers, a lot of math, and I'm not good at it.
Yeah. And
that was before I discovered something like weightlifting that would really test you and your limits on what's possible if you try. So I went from being an astronaut to right after that I decided that I wanted to change it to paralegal studies so I can make my way to be a lawyer, because I'd always been fascinated in law and being a lawyer, and that was the route that I could have went. So go through paralegal studies to eventually get a history degree that would eventually take me down that route. And then same thing, just kind of lost it, just got lost in the sauce, and was like, I'm not cut out for this. I don't want to do this anymore. So I stopped going to school. And then, all I did was just work. And then all of a sudden I came across something like weightlifting where, all it is just showing how determined you can be at one thing and showing you how good you can get at one thing, and that's when it's finally kind of clicked. I mean, I've been on and off of school for like 5 years, but I've only been weightlifting for 2 years. Like, it happens where it takes time to make those decisions. And I definitely think that now in the process of what it is that I do, what it is that I'm interested in, I definitely think that I have an ability to learn the same thing that you're doing and want to be able to do like strength and conditioning coaching and doing that kind of stuff. So that's what I would want to go back to school for. And I think I know now what it takes. It takes a little bit more to be a champion. Scott said that a lot. Our old manager said that.
That's it.
It takes a little bit more to be a champion, and that's true. So I kind of understand now what it is that has to be done. But I gotta say, man, it's not easy.
Not at all.
It's not easy. Sometimes I wish that I never stopped going to school. Sometimes I wish I had gone to San Marcos and didn't pull out of it and stayed and just kind of floated around. But I'd be like $60,000 in debt right now, and no one wants that.
Yeah. That's why I chose Palomar.
UCP, right?
UCP. That's it.
UC Palomar.
That's it. All my comments out there. Was good.
It's good. It's good. I applied the other day. I'm waiting for my acceptance letter from UCP.
Yeah, man. Hope you get in.
That was like 3 days ago.
Yeah, you gotta earn your way in there, man.
Right? God, I hope I have the grades.
There's not all that many spots open.
Yeah. Especially if I want to try out for the baseball team, right? Something like that. You think I could just walk on?
I don't know, man.
Those guys are pretty good.
Some goons out there.
Those guys are pretty good.
Say. Yeah, for my athletic training, I had to go out there and help them out and watch the game, and they're doing all right.
Well, tell me about that. Tell me about that athletic training. What was the idea behind it? What did you what was the dream?
Well,
or what is the dream? Sorry, because the dream's not dead. What is the dream?
Well, definitely. I mean, it's definitely been skewed, I'll say. Coming out of high school, you think you know what you want. I definitely did. I figured athletic training was definitely the route I would take, and I didn't know what the work was that you had to put in. So I wanted to go to San Diego State, and I've heard that they give opportunities to the kids to help out, or at the time what were the San Diego Chargers, and I mean, the Padres are still here. They'd help them out, I guess, and I guess that was kind of the goal. It sounded very promising. Straight out of college, you were able to get a job, and what better than working for the team you've been rooting since you were a little kid, So that's definitely kind of the idea behind it. And I mean, really, that's kind of where it stemmed from. But I definitely started thinking about that physical therapy route just because I guess it's not such a specific group. You're still helping out people. That's what I wanted to do and that's what I still want to do is help people. This is kind of just like a way to give back. Would be through athletic training or physical therapy. Physical therapy, you don't help necessarily athletes only. You help, whoever it is that needs help, or that assistance in getting back on their horse.
Yeah.
So it's
on their quest in their life.
It. Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of it's very, very similar. Very similar. However, like I said, athletic training is just a little bit more specific, I guess you'd say. And I mean, that's definitely what the goal was. And like I said, it's been skewed just because the Chargers have gone to LA. So I mean, if any Chargers are listening out there, I'm definitely down to help. But
down to clown.
But yeah, man, it's kind of a mob up there. I can't be driving 2 hours up north every day.
How bad do you want it?
You know what? You're right.
I'll fire you
know
right
what?
now on the record, on the block, and then you can just go up there.
You know what? If you do that,
I'll fire you, and then I'll quit. They handle it themselves.
Shoot, man.
Like Kelly and Nate run the store.
Kelly and Nate, they can do their best. They're good. I'll hold it down for a little bit.
I guess one of the most important things is learning from the ability to readapt. So I mean, yeah, everything's been skewed, but what are some other things that have happened that you've had to readapt and learn to? So I know it hasn't been easy. Is there anything that you could think of that you've gone through in the last, I don't know, how long have you been in school?
I've been in school. This is my second year.
You've taken 4 semesters now?
4 semesters, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on my 4th currently. So
in 4 semesters, how have you had to readjust, readapt?
I'm still readapting. You know, it's I'm readapting to learning how to readapt, if that makes sense. It's been hard just because, I mean, you know, everything's set for you in high school. Everything's just so planned out. Everything's scheduled. I mean, really, you're kind of pretty much told what to do. And that was kind of the easiest thing, was just being able to follow that.
If I could go back and do that, I'd
That's what I'm
start
saying.
over.
That's everyone says it, man. Everyone says it, and it's the truth.
If I didn't have to go to work and just go to school again. I thought about it the other day, where the hardest thing that you had to do for a period of time was just get good grades in school. Everything else was taken care of for you.
That's all it was, man.
And now
that's all it was.
And all we are, no, dude, I want to get the fuck out of this house. I want to get out of here. I want to do my stuff. And then
I mean, I definitely haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
I've stayed home.
I've done that
for that reason.
I've done plenty for both of us.
I was gonna say, yeah, I definitely learned it from you. I learned why to stay home. That's what it was. No, but I mean, I guess I've never been the greatest student, but that's definitely no excuse. You know, I can't say that's ever necessarily really worked or been, you know, valid, because I mean, really, anyone can pass a class at least, you know, if they're gonna put the work in. I've definitely, you know, gotten my fair share of F's and D's, and you know, it's hard. This semester's still kicking me in my, you know what, and I mean, it's, you know, I've definitely been tired of it, but at the same time, I'm just trying to figure out, you know, how to plan everything out.
You don't really there's no real structure to it. You just kind of have to go with the flow.
Yeah, but that's I guess that's kind of one of the issues, is that, you know, part of learning to readapt is that you have to learn to schedule for yourself, you know. I mean, you just kind of have to work on your own, but you have to learn how to work on your own. I don't think that's necessarily ever I guess I'm sure people are born with that. I guess it just hasn't been gifted to me, but I mean, I just have to learn to prioritize a lot better. My
wonderful significant other, Bailey, she comes to me all the time with the same quote, and it's kind of getting old now because she's been right about it. I think she ripped it off from somebody else, but her quote is, it's not your workload, it's your time management.
That's it.
You know, and that's kind of the thing that happens with all this, you know, with having to train, you know, 4 times a week, and then working 5 days a week down where we work, and driving and having to eat and all that, just making my meals, and you know, and then coming back and doing all this. Like, there's a lot of stuff on my plate, and sometimes I do get overwhelmed with it. But if you do plan it out, if you do, you know, if you manage your time correctly, I'm sure that would help immensely.
Definitely. I mean, literally just, it's crazy. I mean, just buying a planner could help you out. You know, you're able to see it physically, you know, written down and everything. And I guess I'm kind of a hypocrite for saying that since I don't even have a planner. I've thought about it all this time. I'll definitely say procrastination is always horrible, but I guess in order to avoid that, you have to plan it out.
Like
You have to
90%.
manage it.
Yeah, like 90% of people have like smartphones nowadays. You could definitely write it out on your reminders and your planners.
Oh man, I don't know. I don't even know how to use all that stuff,
See,
man. I'm so behind.
Just gotta ask.
I'm so behind. I don't want to ask about that. I know how to write in a planner. I can do that. I mean, even a 5-year-old could do it. It's all right. I can go buy a planner, and I don't know. It's just easier that way for me, at least. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people definitely would prefer their phones, but I mean, yeah, time management is huge. That's definitely, if there's anything to take away, especially for if anyone out there is, you know, listening and they're getting ready to graduate high school, time management is huge.
Yeah, you hear that? Oh, you little senior punks.
Yeah.
Manage your time wisely.
Yeah, especially, I mean, yeah, you're gonna be tempted with a lot of things, with a lot of things, especially it being your first year. I mean, I haven't even been out of my house.
Well, that was fucking dumb. I accidentally pressed the button.
Nice.
You haven't been out of your house?
Haven't even been out of my house, but I mean, it's like it's still a whole new freedom that you experience.
A whole new world.
It's a whole new world. Yeah, it's not just the, you know, the couple thousand kids that are, you know, on your high school campus anymore. You're dealing with the world now.
Dealing with adults.
Yeah.
Adult problems.
That's weird. You're 18 and you're kicked out there, and now you're an adult. It's weird, man.
Well, I've heard it from you. I've heard it from you that, you know, being around that situation, being around those, you know, people in school, you could definitely tell a difference between somebody who understands and recognizes what the real world is and people who still don't.
Most definitely.
So what's the difference? What are those key differences from someone who understands the way the world works, and then people who are going to get a big shock to their fucking system when they leave?
I mean, I don't know. It's just, I guess, definitely one of the biggest things is that, you know, no one's gonna. I don't know how to word it properly, but I guess no one's necessarily gonna care about, you know, what other prior arrangements you have. You know, necessarily they're gonna expect you to hold to your word or to make something happen. I know when it was in my first year, my second semester, I had a math class that I was going to, Psych 205, and I don't even think I was supposed to work that day, or I was supposed to work later. And
I didn't schedule you.
It wasn't. No. This was a year ago. But our manager asked me to go in, and I had a test that day. But I had to leave early, so I missed the test. And I figured I might be able to you know, sneak my way and ask if I can retake the test and everything. And to be honest, I wasn't all that prepared for that test in the first place. So it's like, all right, maybe I might be able to, you know, buy myself another couple days until next week so that I can retake it. And unfortunately, I wasn't given that opportunity.
Who was it? Who scheduled you?
Huh?
Was it Scott or Brett? Or Anthony?
It was. I don't want to put him out. I don't want to put him.
They don't. These people don't know who it is.
You know what? You're right. No, but if they if they hear us, they're gonna feel bad.
I don't care. Who was it?
I know the guy who did is gonna feel horrible too.
Who was it? Was it Brett? No, it was Scott.
Don't even.
It was Scott.
Yeah,
Scott.
it was Scott.
Yeah, so Scott's all about school.
Yeah,
Scott. Was about, you hear that? You hear that, Scooter? Scott doesn't listen to this.
That was,
He's a grown man, dude. He's like 30 years old, working
he's
his
like,
accountant job.
yeah.
He doesn't care.
Yeah,
I messaged him on Instagram like 3 weeks ago. He just got back to me like yesterday.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
You hear that, Scott? Santiago failed his class because of you.
I got a D. I didn't fail.
He got a D because he missed
I-
that one
Yeah,
test.
definitely. No, that single test definitely
That
did
one
hurt.
that one test hurt his grade.
Oh, man.
hurt his grade so
Oh, man,
bad.
that sucks. That sucks, man. But that's just a small example. That's just a tiny example. I mean, that's just a test. That's not gonna hurt all too much.
Yeah.
Sure, it was like it was like $100. That was spent on that class for those credits. But I mean, there's worse things that happen to other people, every day.
In the real world, you need to learn how to make real world decisions. And I know that it's hard. It's definitely hard for a lot of people out there who. It's definitely hard for a lot of people out there who feel like they have an obligation.
That's the big one.
And that's the hardest thing because your obligations, your emotional obligations, could sometimes get in the way of those big like real world obligations where it can get pretty rough. Like prime example is coming up, right? In a couple weeks, like 4 weeks from now, like 3 or 4 weeks from now, I have to go to nationals and I have to compete at nationals, and I wasn't going to. My intention wasn't to, even after, it wasn't. My intention wasn't to compete there, even after I had competed at, where was it? At the under 25 national championship. I wasn't planning on it until Brett was like, "It's your dream, man. If it's your dream, I want to help you." And I'm very grateful to him. The fact that he's gonna cover the store for a little bit while I'm gone, but that's one of the busiest weeks. That's one of the busiest weeks of the year.
Yep.
And I'm gonna be gone for that entire weekend, from Thursday to Monday of that entire weekend. And I feel bad about it. I definitely feel bad about the fact that I have to go out there and I have to leave you guys alone, and you guys are going to be in good hands. It's going to get taken care of because I know that those are the kind of workers that I have and the employees that I have, but if it's your dream, it's my dream. I have to go out there. I have to make those moves. And that's a decision that I'm going to have to live with, especially if it comes back and bites me in the ass. If it's like, yo, where were you? It was one of the busiest weeks of the year. You're a new manager. Why aren't you here? I'm like, sorry. I told you guys what my priorities were before I took this job. And you guys said it was okay. So it's like, if you're, really at any age, you have that ability to, you're going to be put in positions where you have to make hard decisions for the betterment of your life. Definitely is going to get harder towards the end, towards the older stages of your life when you have more responsibilities. But if you're some punk ass kid right now who's, anywhere between the ages of 18 and 30,
That's a kid, man.
You're still a kid, right?
That's a kid. I would say so. Yeah.
You're still a kid.
Yeah.
You're still a kid.
I hear people,
compared to like our grandpa who's turning 70. Some kid who's
That's
like
wild.
somebody who's like 30. Wild. He's like, shut up. Like you're like those years, the years when you're like 18 to 30, those prime 22 years that you have, right? No, that's 12 years.
Yeah.
Those prime 12 years that you have.
And you've been out of school for a while.
I have to retake those tests. Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna have to retake mine, man.
Those 12 years are definitely like, those are the risk taking, and those are the risk taking years. Those are the years.
Those are the years you grow. That's the biggest thing is you're gonna grow. People need to make decisions, make moves, and learn to deal with it. Really, whether it brings them back, whether it's regression or whether it's progressing, whether it's progression. I mean, really, they have to. Like I said, they have to learn to deal with it.
You just kind of have to learn to fail. Learn to take those chances. I think it was listening to, I think it was like Gary V and Logic. He had him on for like their show, the Ask Gary V show with Logic, and their like closing statement. There was one thing where Gary V was talking about how you can always get a job, you can always find work, always find work. And Logic was like, that's true. Like you can always find work somewhere, but you can never go back. You can never go backwards. And then as I sit here and I say it, I start thinking about things that I could be doing more of, taking more and bigger chances on things that I love to do and stuff, like this podcast, like weightlifting, like starting my own company, all that kind of stuff. I can't go back. So anybody listening right now, if you're still listening to this podcast, I mean, you can always find work. Maybe I mean anybody. I mean really anybody, any age, anyone listening, but really to my younger audience, to the people who are, around my age. I mean, you can always find work. Don't take it's like that quote I talked about, Earl Nightingale said, don't not do something, don't not achieve a dream because of the time it'll take to learn it, because that time will pass anyway.
Yep. That's it.
So I mean, you can always find work. You can always find a job. You can always do something.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was just downstairs with your dad, and he put something on, and I mean, I thought it was a magic show or something, but I don't know what it was. I think it was like it was just some guy, yelling at this audience about, trying to get them to think what he wants them to think.
Was it Darren Brown?
That's exactly what it was. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And no, but I mean, his intro to his show, he was just talking about how, I mean, the present moment, that second right there, and then this one, and then this one, so on and so forth. That's all we have. So I mean, it's pretty crazy. I mean, don't necessarily think about your future, because I mean, it's cliche, but you make the future. It's definitely, it's not even a progress. You have to do things now in order for things to come later. But I mean, don't think about those things that come later. I mean, like you said, that in that quote, he's just saying the time's gonna pass. You're not, like you said, you can't grab those those seconds back, those prior moments. You're never going to be able to access those. So I mean, just grind it out now. Do what you can now. I mean, speaking about work and finding work and being able to work, our grandmother, I mean, she's been selling literally anything that she possibly can.
Hustling.
Since the beginning of her days, man. It's crazy. Like she, I mean, used to live in Mexico, and she'd make tortas or whatever and be selling it. I mean, she's still selling flowers. Yeah, she's still
selling flowers on the side of the road.
Graduations, for high school and even like middle schools, she's selling like lays, like chocolate lays and stuff, and flower lays. I mean, she's still. I mean, it's incredible.
The funniest thing about all what she does is, it's like she doesn't do it for any other reason than like her family.
Nope.
That's the funny thing, is like a lot of people nowadays will resort to that kind of stuff to, they'll work for that paper, for that dollar, and try to get that bag. But
that's so weird.
Yeah, but weird. It's that weird shift where I've seen my grandma, like our grandma, do it because she she's done it and worked and just gives that money away to us, like to her family, because I think she just loves doing it.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. There's absolutely no attachment to that money though, none whatsoever. And I mean, I think, I don't know if it's a cultural thing, which is actually really funny because we're talking about that in one of my classes. It's just so weird because, I mean, yeah, if you're fighting to get the max amount of money that you can, that's a waste of time. You're not taking that anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, it's, I mean,
I'm taking it with you.
It's not coming with you. So, I mean,
you're just going to make more of it.
Yeah, that's it. You're just going to make more of it. And I mean, if your goal is to have more than, you know, what's his name? Jeff Bezos.
That's not impossible.
It's not going to happen. I mean, he's, that's just not, I just see that as pointless.
I guess, you know what I mean? I guess when you think about it, when you focus on something, when your prime focus is on something, you'll achieve it no matter what. Like if your goal is to make money, you'll make money. You'll find a way to make money. Doesn't mean it'll make you happy. You know, if your goal is to find the right person, like find the right person to be with, how many opportunities are you going to miss with all the wrong people, you know, the things that you can learn from all the wrong people. When your prime focus is on something, you miss the opportunity to, you miss every other opportunity that's out there. You know, if you'll get it, but at what cost? You know, at what cost do you want all this money? At what cost do you want this happiness?
Yeah, it's just a waste of your time.
If you don't know, if whoever's listening to this doesn't know about what the Miracle on Ice was, the Miracle on Ice was when the U.S. hockey team went to the Olympics and they beat the Soviet Union. And that's that famous saying, the famous recording was like, "Do you believe in miracles?" That was a great moment in U.S. history. God bless those boys, those rogue cowboy playing hockey players. But since we're talking about, you know, since we're talking about perfect moments, since we're talking about moments in general, what it's like to wait for a perfect moment. That perfect moment's never going to come. And especially being at any age, but to those people who are listening who are on the brink of doing something bigger with their life, but they just need, you know, to hear the fact that they can always get a job. Herb Brooks was the coach of the U.S. Olympic hockey team. And he had a speech that he told the guys right before they went out. And again, this story's crazy. Like the U.S., like the Olympic selection process back in the day, before they started using actual players, like the professional players, for their Olympic team, were just kids who would try out for the hockey team. Just Olympic. They would go out. All these college kids would go out. Just nobodies from these schools, no real big time players from these schools, and go out and try out and make the Olympic team. Like that's the selection process of what it was back then. So you have this bunch of ragtag hockey players from all across the United States, right? Versus the best team in the world, the Soviet Union. And just a year before, they had played the All-Star team for the NHL, and they beat the fucking shit out of them. Like they beat them like 12-2. Like it was ridiculous. Like they beat the ever-loving shit out of them. The year prior, their team was together. The USSR team was together for a really long time, and these kids are just learning how to play hockey as one unit with this new coach. And right before the Olympics, they actually played the USSR, and they got the shit kicked out of them too. They were shut out. It was like 12-0, it was like 10-0 or like 8-0. It was ridiculous. Nobody believed in these kids. Like, no one thought it was possible. Nothing. Like, everyone counted them out. So they play them the week before the Olympics, and they go out to the Olympics, and then they go through. They basically kick the shit out of all the teams that the U.S. kicks the shit out of the teams that they need to get to the championship, right? Oh no, the what's it called? Not the championship, but the one before
the semifinals.
The semifinals. That's what it is. Semifinals versus the USSR, and then they ended up winning the game, and it was just they had to beat these kids. Those kids had to beat the best team in the world. So Herb Brooks, their coach, and it ties into taking a shot. It's, great moments are born from great opportunity, and that's what you have here tonight. That's what you've earned here tonight. One game. If we played them 10 times, they might win 9, but not this game. Not tonight. Tonight we skate with them. Tonight we stay with them. And we shut them down because we can. Tonight, we are the greatest hockey team in the world. You were born to be hockey players. Every one of you. And you were meant to be here tonight. This is your time. Their time is done. It's over. I'm sick and tired of hearing what a great hockey team the Soviets are. Screw them. This is your time. Now go out there and take it. Like, you can replace a lot of those sentences with what you want out of your life. With what you want out of your life. And it applies. If you try 10 times, to do the same thing, you might fail 10 times. You might fail 9. But all you need is 1. Yeah. All you need is that 1. That's a great movie. That was a great thing that happened in real life. But that movie Miracle is on. I think it's on Netflix.
I haven't got to see it.
It's pretty great.
Sounds pretty great.
We're closing in on an hour now. We've been talking for like 54 minutes. So earlier I'd asked Instagram to just send me some questions. Just send me some stuff on what they think is what they want to hear from me, because apparently I'm wise or something.
Here, you want me to read it to you?
No, we're both gonna answer.
But you're the wise one.
Definitely not. Sarah, what did she say? Oh, Sarah asked me, what's it like to feed a super? And a super heavyweight, it's what I am, because I'm so fat.
Not fat. You're just a burly amount of pounds. That's it.
Oh,
that's
my goodness.
Are,
you know what, Sarah? If you want to see what my diet's like, go on YouTube and look up the Riff Raff diet. It's that burly amount of pounds.
He's just a burly amount of pounds, man.
Just a burly man. It's a burly walk right there. Hey, ask me how many pounds I am.
How many pounds
burly.
Are you?
Burly amount of pounds. Sarah, it's pretty difficult. It's pretty difficult because I have to constantly eat all the time. You know this. Sage and I just worked on my diet very recently, and I'm just trying to eat as much as it takes to feed my body. And it's ridiculous. What are we looking at? We're looking at breakfast, then like second breakfast. So a small little snacky snack, protein filled. So breakfast is like my banana nut oatmeal.
Yeah,
that one's good.
Yeah,
banana nut oatmeal with bananas and raspberries and strawberries. That's good.
Sounds good.
And then second breakfast, it's like protein filled stuff. So it's like ham and like egg whites, or like turkey and egg whites or something like that. And then for lunch, it's usually like leftover dinner if we didn't go out to eat the night before. This last month we haven't, so I've been eating a lot of like good stuff that we make. So it's just a lot of vegetables, rice, pastas. Try to cut down on pasta, so like rice and potatoes and like just a lot of meat. And then that's lunch, and then like maybe a snack in between if I have some, like a fruit, and then I'll eat dinner, and then I'll eat a protein shake. What about you, bud? What are you eating? Dude, that's Rabdo Cowboy
chaotic.
over here.
That's chaotic. Sometimes I don't eat. That's the thing.
What's the Rabdo Cowboy? Reason why do I call you the Rabdo Cowboy?
Because I got Rabdo, man. I got Rabdo. This was back in January.
What were tell them what your levels were.
Oh, it was normally it's your CK level is what they look at.
What is
so
that?
It's your creatine kinase level, and normally it's supposed to be. I want to say it was the lower end was about 24 or something like that, and then higher end is.
Let me see. Normal
is between like 24 and 204
kinase levels. In a healthy adult, this is the Muscular Dystrophy Association. In a healthy adult, the serum CK level varies with a number of factors: gender, race, and activity. But a normal range is 22 to 198 units per liter.
Yeah, I had over 120,000 at my peak.
It's a little high, bro.
I do it big. Anything right? I do it big.
Think big. Hashtag think big.
That's it, man.
That's it.
So yeah.
Why'd you get Rabdo Cowboy over there?
It was I hadn't, like I said previously. I'm not as fit and healthy as I once was, but I definitely tried acting like I was, and hadn't worked out for a good while. Not worked out hard and very consistently for about a year, and then I went all out for about a week and a half. I wasn't eating all that much just because I was like, all right, I'm tired of eating a bunch of crap. So, but there was still crap in my face, so but I just chose not to eat it instead. And apparently I just wasn't drinking enough fluids, not enough water.
You were fasted too. I remember
that. Well, that's why I wasn't necessarily fasting, but like, I don't know. I definitely tried having like one really solid big meal a day.
Yeah.
That was the big thing. I guess that's not what you're supposed to do though. I'll tell you right now. That's it's not the best thing to do. Yeah, you don't want your CK hitting 120,000.
I don't think so.
Yeah, my doctor freaked out, man.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, he thought I was gonna die. He thought I needed kidney dialysis and everything. I'm still here. No machines hooked up to me.
Rabdo Cowboy.
My liver's still working. My kidney's still working.
So if you don't want to be a Rabdo Cowboy, just don't do what he was doing. Make sure you're drinking water and eating food regularly.
Yeah,
and make
sure your workouts are accustomed to your fitness level at that time.
What were you doing?
I was doing it all.
Supersets.
I was doing it all. Supersets. I mean, dude, it was definitely something. And then I'd work out for like a good hour. Nothing too crazy, but before working out, I'd definitely go running for I'd do some sprints.
You're training like Matt Fraser with the body of
dude.
Matt Fraser when he broke his back.
No, he was still better off than I was, dude. He was still better off than I was. No, I don't even know who I can compare, myself to. Just not a healthy person. Not a healthy person.
Rabdo Cowboy over
That's
here.
it.
Okay, Sarah. Hopefully that works. Is my dog Daniel Redlin. I met him at U25. He was super in the B session. Great guy. Oh my goodness. I met him at the same time when Bailey had her fucking encounter with Maddie Rogers. Let's see if Bailey's here so I can have her tell the story because this shit was hilarious. All right, well, she's still at work and it's 12:05 a.m. on Saturday. So,
scratch that.
So basically, So I was talking to Daniel around the corner, and Bailey's getting her elbow looked at because she fucked up a clean and jerk and almost dislocated her whole elbow and shoulder area. And Matty Rogers is just kind of sitting there. And for everyone who doesn't know Matty Rogers, and it doesn't make sense because if you listen to my podcast, you know that I'm a weightlifter. You know what weightlifting is. But Matty Rogers is a really good USA weightlifter. Like, she's pretty much the best. And she's just standing there, and Bailey sees her, and she knows that it's her. And Bailey goes and she picks up her backpack, and she looks at Matty's shoes, and she goes, "Hey, I like your shoes. Your shoes are pretty tight." And she looks up. She's like, "Oh, hey, it's you." And she's like, "Oh, thanks." And that was it. And she just walked away. It was... Bailey will tell that story at some point. It was really funny, but she was like, "Oh my God, look at you. I love your shoes. Oh my God, hey, good luck tomorrow." And that was it. It's pretty funny. It was a great experience. I mean, any normal person would have just been like, "Hey, what's up? Good luck." But, Bailey, let's go above and beyond. But my dog, Daniel, if you're listening, thanks, bud. He talks about, he asked me, or he just told me to talk about being a role model for guys just starting out to look up to. And you know what, Daniel? If I'm being completely honest, dog, I mean, that was never really my intention, Like, yeah, I mean, my goal for myself was to be the best version of myself that I could be, and to have people learn from that. To have people learn from my mistakes, the things that I've done, just learn from my experience. But all it came from was trying to be the best version of myself. So, if there's anything I have to say, Daniel, it's, you really just, I mean, you got to think of yourself as that guy, man. Because if you would have told me, coming right out of high school when I was like not strong, and if you would have told me when I first started weightlifting, when I was snatching 95 pounds and clean and jerking just cleaning 315, because I never put anything like that above my head before. If you would have told me like 2.5 years ago that I would eventually go to Vegas and take second place overall in the nation for super heavyweight under 25, like, I wouldn't believe that. So you gotta make those goals for yourself, man. You gotta do that for yourself, and you gotta be, you're gonna have to be the guy that you want to look up to one day. And eventually by doing that, by being you, by being cool, and remembering that all you're doing is just lifting some weights, bud. All you're doing is just lifting some weights just to get stronger, that you can definitely make a difference, You can make a difference in some people's lives, at least.
I mean, no one's gonna hate on you for trying.
Yeah.
No one's gonna hate on you for giving it what you got. And trust me, I mean, I can't put 50 pounds over my freaking head, man. So trust me, hats off to you. And I mean, I look at my cousin, and it's insane, man. I mean, it's definitely different, being related and having that example just constantly in front of me. But I mean, really, yeah, like he just said, it's just being the best that you can be is where it stems from. And that's all I've seen out of this guy. Whether it be weightlifting or not, he just wants to, be able to say that he's giving it everything that he's got, and pretty insane, man. It's contagious. It rubs off. I don't know. I mean, plain and simple, like I said, no one's going to hate on you for giving what you got, man. And if they do, that's something with them. That's their issue, because they know that they're not putting in that same effort. That's really it, man.
If you're just starting out, in anything, remember that it is going to take time. What do I have to go back to the? I have to go back to the to go back to the quote again. I go back to the quote. Doesn't matter how long it takes to achieve your dream. That time is going to pass anyway. So don't give up. Don't give up.
Time is stopping for no one.
I'm you know what, I don't consider myself a role model. So I'm, it kind of it catches me off guard when I hear that people do or think of me as some sort of role model. But I guess that's, I'm just being me. So Daniel, just be you, dog. Just be you. From what I remember from meeting you, just be you, dog. That's cool. It's no problem. Be the Daniel Cowboy. That's it. Pave your own trail out west. Out west. My dog, Chris Momo, he asked me a really fucking technical question about like weightlifting. This guy is like balancing weight, muscle gain for strength and speed and agility. When do you dial down gaining? And I was like, what? Chris, what are you asking me, dog? Is he asking me when do I gain weight? When do I gain weight and muscle? I don't know what he's trying to ask. I mean, personally, for me, Chris, I'm kind of I don't even know. I'm kind of like always. I mean,
Yeah, you're just trying to always gain.
I'm always gaining. Like I'm always just getting big, like just big and burly.
Just adding those burly pounds.
Just burly pounds, just a burly amount of pounds, Chris. I don't really know, but I guess balancing weight / muscle gain for strength and speed / agility. When do you dial down gaining? What is he trying to ask me? You know what, Chris? I'm gonna get back to you. I will figure out the answer to this question. I'm gonna have to text you and figure out what it is that you're trying to ask me, and I'm gonna answer it on the next podcast. But I'm just burly. Dude, what do you think that he's trying to ask?
I'm trying to think of it myself. I think he's just trying to see if. Obviously you did get bigger, so it's like it's just. I guess as far as because people say that you can't, gain weight and then also tone up or, necessarily. I guess that'd be the biggest thing is trying to tone while also like packing on muscle. Dude, typically if you're gonna pack on muscle, you definitely you do gain a little bit of that fat.
If you've seen like Bailey recently, like she's on a weight, she's gaining right now.
She's doing the weight.
And so is Sage, and dude, they both look great. Like they're gaining right amounts of muscle. Looks great. Like they're looking pretty like thick and buff. It's crazy. Everyone should go look at their Instagrams. Yeah. But Chris, I will talk to you. We'll go in depth, and then I'll ask you next time. Oh goodness, this question is from my dog Abdul, Mr. Classy Abs himself. This is a guy who kind of started me on a podcast kick because he has his podcast, the What Drives You Project, and right now he's out coaching with out in Massachusetts with Ben Bergeron, Matt Fraser's coach, and those guys dude's kicking ass. But he asked me to talk about growth through struggles and growing through struggles. And you know what? I'm not sure if we touched on it at the start of the episode, but we're talking about little anxiety and little depth, little depression. If there's anything that's a constant, that's constant for me, it's if you look at the study where any high level athlete or high level performer, there's something lacking with them. Something personally within them is lacking, and I definitely think that's the case, because me personally, I am. There's a lot of things that I've gone through in my life that have left me lacking in certain aspects, and over the, I mean, injuries, not, personal stuff, between my mom and my dad, not seeing my mom for a long time, not, not having a real good relationship with my dad going through high school. Just kind of, just a lot of stuff that has kind of left me wanting more for myself. And I'm finally in a position where, I'm reaching. I can finally say that I'm performing at a higher level than I thought possible, and I'm definitely trying to fill a void of some sort inside. I don't know what that void is yet. I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know if I'll ever figure it out. I'm not sure if I want to, because if I find out, then one day maybe it'll be satiated and I won't want to do it as much. It's just a crazy kind of concept when you think about it. But Abdul, for the longest time I've struggled with that anxiety and that depression, and it doesn't go away. It definitely doesn't go away. It gets better. It gets better, but I think the hardest part is dealing with the fact that it's always kind of there. That's the reason why I haven't put out a podcast in the last week. My anxiety and my depression were kind of hitting me hard all at the same time through the roof. I wasn't sure if it was a spike in, it was a shot to my central nervous system being a couple weeks out from the meet. I don't know if it was a culmination of last year around this time. There was a lot of stuff that wasn't going well for me, and I don't know if it's, muscle memory. I don't know if it's, chemical memory. It's my brain chemistry. I don't know if I'm sick, mentally with something, if I have a disorder, but it does worry me sometimes. And it definitely, if there's anything that I struggle with more every day, it's not a physical limitation. It's a mental limitation. And, it all just kind of came crashing down this last week, where I've been on a bender of what bad thing is going to happen next. And I shouldn't think that way. I definitely shouldn't think that way. And I definitely am trying my hardest to get over it. Bad thoughts are just that. They're just bad. So if I could say anything about growing through the struggle of, those things that you have to deal with on the inside, it's, you have to shift your perspective. I'm not sure if a lot of people know this about, seriously, this whole podcast is like cowboy themed, but I'm not sure if a lot of people know this about bison, American bison. But, and it's just a story that I read. I don't know if it's 100% true or not. I think it was on like the Tennessean, so that's a website. But the difference between bison and cows, like regular milk, like dairy cows, when there's a storm coming, the bison will turn towards the storm and run into it, right? They'll run towards it because they know that if they run towards it, it'll be over faster. And the faster they run into it, the harder they run into it, the less time they'll spend confused, scared, in pain, frustrated, all that stuff, because they faced it head on. They faced the storm head on, and that storm could be a storm that you face in your mind, a storm that you face every day, something, if you face it with that mentality, head on, let's do it. Let's get it over with, because it's the longer I put it off, the longer you put off your own recovery, the longer you put off your own attempt to figure out your own issues. Well, that's Bailey. The longer you put that off, the more pain and frustration you'll be in. And then with cows, these little bitch ass cows, they'll run from the storm, and then eventually it'll catch up to them, and then they're caught off guard, and they're in the storm much longer because they're trying to run away from it. So grow through struggles. Abdul, be a buffalo, dog. Be a buffalo. Be a buffalo on your voyage westward ho, on your cowboy journey of life, on your stable steed. Be a buffalo. That's the kind of person you want to be. Face your struggles head on. Don't run away from them. What about you, dog? Over here, little Santi. What do you think about growing through struggles?
I mean, I think that's where little depth comes in, because it's like it's bound to happen anyway. Might as well take them head on. Something. You can definitely use that quote, because I mean, everyone will tell you that failure is the biggest, or at least I guess the biggest teacher. Because it's not someone or something telling you, it's you learning it on your own, but you have to take that failure and run with it. I mean, trying to think as far as struggling and making it work. I mean, that's really what it is making it work. It's not always going to be pretty. You're not always going to make it work in the best of ways, but you will learn. I mean, time will pass, and as time passes, why just sit there and kind of just acknowledge it when you can, I guess, just become that much better. I mean, in life, you're just going to be a constant learner. So might as well use everything you possibly can, whether it is good or bad. And I mean, the bad things, those struggles are definitely going to be the biggest learning blocks. That's going to be the biggest things that you come across. And I mean, hey, be that buffalo.
Greg Everett from Catalyst Athletics, he posts a lot of stuff on his Instagram, and there was one thing that in particular I saw and I really liked. It was you decide every day with every word and action who you are. You don't get to pick out only the good ones later. He goes on, he says, you are a continuously evolving aggregation of everything you've ever said and done. The things you shouldn't have said and done don't disappear, and often those are the ones most remembered by those around you despite whatever good you've done. This doesn't mean your entire life is hopeless because you were a shithead in your misguided youth or you made a few big mistakes along the way. We've all been and done that. What it means is that it's important to be conscious of your daily decisions and how they define your character. You don't get to undo anything, but you can always make the effort to be better and strive to accomplish so much good that the bad in the past can be forgiven. That's a good one. Greg paving the way out west, out in the weightlifting west.
I don't know why, just the thought that came into my head there. But I mean, it was said, that you're gonna be remembered mostly by those negative things, regardless of all the good that you've done. What if you don't do those bad things? Does that mean you're not gonna be remembered?
I think it's more a play on. I mean, you're not perfect. Nobody's perfect.
No.
So no one, depending on the mistake you make, whether it's small or if it's big, you're gonna make mistakes, and people out there are gonna remember the fact that you made the mistake. So it's up to you to learn from that previous action, that previous mistake, that previous circumstance, and make a conscionable decision every day to be the person that you want to be, to live up to that character standard, to live up to those standards. No one can not make a mistake. Whether it's a big mistake or a small mistake, it's going to happen. Pressing forward, because we're almost done here. Mary Rose, my I'm your favorite. I'm your favorite child. And you can tell Emmy that. You can tell Emmy I said that because it's true. Mary Rose asked me what my favorite snacks are. Mary Rose, I love sunflower seeds. Sunflower seeds are really good, and fruit. Fruit's good, like just black cherries. That's pretty good. Mary Rose, I drink a lot more. I have a lot more drinks than I do snacks. So if I'm drinking anything, I'm drinking my La Croix, my sparkling waters. And then Mary Rose also asked to rank the Rocky movies. And you know what, Mary Rose, I'm gonna hold off for next time, for when we do that Rocky episode. Yeah, there we go. Thank you guys, for everybody. Thank you all for weightlifting growth. Stop following me. Thank you guys for asking those questions. Gives me stuff to talk about, pick some brains. But yeah, that's the podcast right there. This podcast was brought to you by nobody, because I don't have any sponsors yet, because people don't have good taste. If there's anybody that sponsors me, it's Olympus Movement Performance out in Vista. If you guys are out in that area and you guys need some work done, if you're an athlete, who just recently broke their own ass and you need someone to fix it, go see them. They have a wide variety of services, and they'll get that. They'll get everything fixed up. Promise you. That Anne Marie and Brittany, they have gotten me back to where I need to be. Go see them. This podcast is brought to you by me, and I don't know. Bailey said I should start a Patreon page where people donate to me to help me out so I can do more of these. I don't know about that. I work. I don't need that. I don't need that charity. I'm sure at some point I'll definitely start one though. So thank you everybody who's been listening. Like I said, I am not going to get a set schedule for this. I'm just going to put them out. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put episodes out and you guys are going to be happy. It's like Christmas morning or every afternoon or every evening whenever you listen to this.
Don't worry, you guys. I'm gonna be on his ass.
Yeah.
That way.
Go follow me on Instagram. My Instagram, I changed it. It's WL_CZAR. Short. It's like weightlifting _Caesar. Yeah, that's my Instagram. Go do that. Go follow me and send me some DMs or something. Also, if you everybody would be so kind to on whatever platform you're on, just leave me a review. You know, click those. If you like the podcast, give me that. Click those 5 stars. Write down what you like about it. If you don't like it, click those 5 stars and write down what you don't like about it. You know, it's cool. I'll read all of them. But I appreciate it. I appreciate everyone that listens still. If there's any closing words, that I can say, it's
rage against the dying of the light.
I mean, those are your last words.
Oh, is that it?
Those are your last words. If there's any last words that I was gonna say, it's
all right.
If you're gonna be a cowboy, make sure that you always check your boots for any dangerous critters that could pop in there. That's good advice, right? What else? What else about being a cowboy? Always check your hat. Make sure you have water.
I mean, feed the horses.
Got the horses in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Horseback is attached.
Yeah.
You gotta take them down the Old Town Road.
That's it.
For everybody out there who's facing some struggles, facing some bad stuff going on right now, remember to be a buffalo. Face that storm head on, and the sooner you face your issues, the sooner you face your problems, the quicker you do, the quicker that the quicker it'll come to a resolution instead of running away from it. Don't delay the inevitable. Face it. Thanks for listening. I'm gonna go to bed. Thank you guys. Thank you to my guest, little Santi over here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And I'll be back. Yeah, I wasn't too talkative this go around.
A little tired.
I'm a little tired too, but we'll do this earlier next time.
All right, everybody. Have a good Easter weekend. I hope peace be unto you and your respected religions, and much love. I love all of you. Goodbye.